Hello, everybody. Yeah, still don't know why I do that with my voice, like Mrs. Doubtfire. I don't know every single time. Just naturally happens that way. Let me adjust this a little bit here. How are y'all doing this Tuesday? I am busy running around doing stuff. I hope you guys are too. It's springtime. Things are going on. Projects are starting. I feel like everybody's coming out of the slumber of winter. Welcome to the Cellar Geek podcast. If you haven't watched before, Tuesday, 7 p.m., I stream my podcast live. Hey, Hollywood. I stream my podcast live and we talk about stuff that is wine and wine adjacent. Today, we're going to be talking about Calvados, which honestly, when I was researching this, I was shocked that I didn't see it in any of my wine books. I don't know, I could have sworn that I read about it in wine books, Calvados, but I couldn't find it in any of them, any indexes or anything. Um, Palm Som is here as always. There you go. There you go. Give it a good lick. Way to go. Um, but we talk about stuff on here, that interests me, that I think is really interesting. It's not all just about wine. We've talked about cider. We've drank all kinds of different things on here and discussed different things. You know, uh, Scandals in the past, like the antifreeze scandal, and lots of other really cool things that I think's cool, at least. And so hopefully the things that I think's cool resonates with you guys and makes you a little bit more interested, maybe in not just wine, but the world surrounding basically being a somm. Um, I manage private wine collections is what I do. I am self-studied. I taught myself. Been doing this for some time now. I even worked at a winery in Australia. Lived there for about 3, 4 months, I think it was. It was during the flood time, so the vintage was a little questionable when it was going to actually be able to start. But I worked for Torbreck Winery in the Barossa Valley. And now, years later, I manage private wine collections. So actually, right now, I'm working in one of my cellars that are about 5,000 bottles. It is one of my original clients. I'm the only person that's ever touched his collection. And we are doing all kinds of projects in there. So if I look tired, that's because I am tired. Hey, how are you doing? Cigar Lounge podcast. Another podcast I was actually a guest on. Great people. But if I look tired, that's why I am tired. It's because I've been working in that cellar, lifting, moving, counting, adjusting, all that kind of stuff. So if I'm squinty eyed, it's because I've had lack of sleep. So please excuse me if I look tired. Part of this podcast is just keeping it real. So that's what it is. I've been working hard at it and everything. For anybody who cares, foot news. So I've been having foot surgery. I had foot surgery in January and I've been recovering. I'm getting both of my feet done this year. And I'm going to be getting my second one done, which is my left foot. Was supposed to be on the 20th. And this morning they called me and they had to reschedule. And so it's a month behind schedule now, which completely messes up my whole mental time frame and what everything I had scheduled around this for. Like, I was about to not walk again, and so it's been a weird day for me adjusting with that news. There's really nothing you can do about it, so you just kind of got to roll with it. But that's another reason why I decided to do Calvados today, because as you can see in this lovely sign, it is 41% alcohol. It's been a rough day, guys. It's been a rough couple weeks. So, what we're drinking today is a Calvados, higher alcohol, 41% alcohol. Just in relation, wine in general is going to be around a 13.5% alcohol, to kind of give you an idea of the difference on that. So, 41% alcohol. This is a booze. This is 3 years. The producer is Pere Jules. Probably completely butchering that because I'm not great at pronouncing French stuff. So that's what we're drinking today. And let's get this cracked open, guys. So this is what the bottle looks like. I got this from a local wine shop in Nashville called Grand Cru. Really great employees there that give you really great suggestions. I always love going in there. They change your inventory out. They put weird stuff in. I love weird stuff. And I was in there one day and was really like, you know what? I just really want a Calvados. I haven't had one in forever, and I was feeling it. I did not just buy this, by the way. I've had this, but today just kind of struck me as a day. Let's crack it open. So that is what the bottle looks like. Calvados, and here's the back. You can give it a good gander. Fresh cracks, guys. So we're gonna crack this guy open. There we go. Everybody's listening. Here's your ASMR segment. Go. Has a lovely cork top. No, you do not store this like wine on its side, even though it's a cork top. It's high in alcohol, so it'll eat through that. So don't store these on the side. Okay, here we go. Yeah, let's do a healthy pour. Why not? This is a lovely sniffer glass. I just grabbed it out of my cabinet. We brought this back from our Europe trip a couple years ago. James Fox is a cigar store. And we went to the one, it says established in 1881. We went to the one in Ireland. This was in Dublin, Ireland. We went to really cool people. And anyways, they ended up giving us two of these glasses, and we kept them and actually brought them all the way back. So we love these. They have a warm place in our heart. Oh, right off the bat, it smells like this was a right choice today. For my cigar smokers, which my viewers are right now, this would go fantastic with a cigar. The alcohol levels there, the flavor profile. I'm going to give it a sipper. Ooh, gets you right in the nostrils, really opens up your sinuses. But on the back end, you get that apple flavor to it. Really like this one tastes like fresh apples. Now, I will say, I went online and looked at their products, and this one, the 3-year one, is their younger one. They go up to 40 years of age. And let me tell you, I looked at the bottles, a big difference. Okay. You get a darker color, it's a little bit more cloudy. I would really like to drink some. I was looking at the pictures on their website and it looked delicious. But this would definitely hold up to a cigar, and it's different. Since you have that fresh apple flavor in there, it's a little bit refreshing. Definitely the alcohol content's there to be able to stand up to the body of a cigar. Um, I'm really feeling like, I know it's what, well, if you know me, Hollywood probably knows. So there's a cigar shop in Dallas, called, Industrial Cigar Company. And now Crux cigars are making it more here locally in Nashville. But that's where I got introduced to them. And there is a white label Crux that I feel like would go so well with this. I know the Bull and Bear is a favorite of that cigar shop. I wouldn't down it. I wouldn't say it would be a bad pairing, but I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling like that Crux cigar would go really well with it. Really, I'm thinking about like medium bodied, medium plus. I guess a Connecticut could go with it, but I feel like it's a bit too light. You need a little bit more of like a medium bodied cigar. Yeah. Yeah, this is a right choice. Lovely. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys. Let me silence my I silenced my phone, but my watch is like, ha, you forgot to silence me. So let's silence that real quick so it stops dinging. Um Man, like I'm feeling warmth all the way down here. It's at higher alcohol, but it's so clean. And like I said, it has that crisp apple flavor to it. It's not overpowering. It's definitely not sweet. It is of that higher alcohol. This is like an apple brandy. Okay. So think of it that way. This is made into a cider. So you take the apple, you press it, you let it ferment it, you make it into a cider. But then from there, you make it into a brandy and then you age it in barrels and whatnot and get this kind of aging process. So that's a process of it. So let's get into a couple facts before I just keep wanting to drink that. It's been a long day. I want to keep drinking it because it tastes good, but if I keep drinking it and then I try to talk, this is going to be a very wonky podcast because I'm going to be drunk. I also haven't eaten any dinner yet, so yeah, maybe I should have grabbed me some snacks or something for this. Oh my gosh, this is a bad decision. Okay, so a little bit about this winery. I looked it up and I found like it was really cool. So sorry, I did not look up how to pronounce this, but Pere, the Le Pere Jules, Pere, but it's with an accent on the second E, the downward accent. If you know, let me know because I don't. That means father in French. So this they still make cider. They started with making cider. The cider and Calvados making company started with um a dude that came back from World War One in 1919. He knew about apples, he knew about apple orchards. He was an orphan who was raised by his grandparents on an apple orchard and they made cider. So he learned at a very young age how to make cider. It was something that he knew how to do. Now, if you tuned into our cider podcast with the Vivid ciders, actually, I think the code's still up too. You can order from them and get a discount using my name. But that's on my page and stuff, so you can see that it's linked in. But we talked about that episode on cider and the history of it across the world. Really, I think I dove in heavily in Washington State, but cider's been around a very, very long time worldwide. If you think about it, it really makes sense because apple is such a basic, I mean, biblically, I mean, it's from forever, right? The apple tree. It's been around. So being planted, that apple just for consumption, apple pies, apple jams, just people made a lot of stuff with apples. And people also liked booze because life was hard. So apple cider was born. Everybody drank apple cider. Everybody had it. Everybody had orchards and they made that stuff to drink. It was super popular worldwide. Really, the next step from that was Calvados or apple brandy, whatever they were calling it back then, was kind of the next step. And it really makes sense when you think about it, historically, just the steps it would take. You're having apples and these orchards and these trees and these, I wouldn't say so much farms, but sort of, I mean, people were planting stuff to eat. Different than now and just going to the store. Way back, in the 16th, 15th, 14th century, you had to go pick your stuff. You had to grow your stuff in your yard and survive off of it. It was a different time. So it makes sense that booze would be started from apples. Um, so yeah, it's been around a really long time. So that's what happened here. He learned how to make cider through his grandparents growing up. Then he went off to war. He came back in World War One in 1919, and he bought an orchard. And he figured, I'm going to start a business on what I know how to do, a skill that I know, and that skill was making apple cider. Not the apple cider you're thinking of, Christmas time, super sugary with cinnamon. That is also delicious. But I'm talking about the boozy kind. Here in the United States, we say hard cider a lot. Really, it's just cider or even apple cider to be more specific, because there's also pear cider that's quite popular. But yeah, so he started that. And then it was in Normandy. So Normandy, France is really where Calvados is at. That's the hot spot. And he started making it there and he started making a living. He was going in town, he was selling it in markets. He was just trying to make money, he was trying to make a life for himself. Which kudos to him. This dude's an orphan. He learned a skill from his grandparents. He went off and fought a war. He came back to, I mean, I really like that hard up story, the feeling of like just a guy just trying to make it, and he made it, and he made a family, because today it's still ran by family. So I mean, that's so cool that he made a business to be able to pass down to his children. Um so yeah, sorry. Anyways, it's just really, I'm romanticizing it. To me, I read it and it just sounded so great. This guy having a hard life, and he came back from fighting in the war, and I mean, I don't know, I just really liked it. So he hustled basically. He got his stuff in. I read that it was in all kinds of restaurants in France, especially around the Normandy region. And then in 1949, his son Leon like really took over, and he did a rename of it. And so that's when it got renamed to Le Pere Jules, because it was Papa Jules. And it even said when he came back from war that people were calling him Pere Jules, like just like father or papa, which is kind of cool. So he was a father figure to his community. Oh, I should not hold that because I just want to drink it. Oh, it hits you. Oh, it makes you so warm in the throat. Okay. Um, Says 1949, his son, Leon. And then his son had a son named Chiri, Thierry. I only know how to say that name, by the way, because one of my roommates, when I worked at that winery in Australia, his name was Chiri. And so I had to learn how to say his name properly. And believe me, I said it all the time. He's an awesome guy. I love him to death. We're still in contact today, just on like social media, but Chitty is awesome. And this Chitty of this family also is awesome. He's fourth generation. And what he did when he got into the family business after like going to college and everything and learning about this community and what to do, he said, ding ding, we need to export this stuff. And that is exactly what he implemented. In 1980, this apple making brandy cider company, they started exporting it, and they started in the UK, and obviously it spread because I was able to buy this in Nashville at a wine shop. So I found that really, really cool. Um, so like I said, on their website, they do still sell ciders, which I think is really cool. And I would be interested now that I know about this. And that's also, really cool, about wine and everything adjacent, is when you learn about the company and the family story and all this, you feel invested to want to support them even more, And that's kind of how I felt when I read this story about them, is I want to support them even more. So now I know this company, and I'm going to keep an eye out for their products and stores, and I'm going to be looking for them. So if I find Le Jules cider, apple cider in stores, I will purchase it. If I find Le Jules, their older Calvados, I'll probably purchase it because I want to support them and I want to taste it. Something that's really cool about this industry in this world is that you end up getting like emotionally attached to these families, these stories, these companies. And I'm no different. I fall in love all the time with people, and I love this story in particular. So for me personally, I'll definitely be seeking this out again and find hopefully some of their older stuff, because like I said, this one is 3. Yeah, it's just a 3-year-old one, so it's the youngest out of all of them that they make. And you can tell too, like when well, I don't want to lift the bottle and then drop it, but you can tell by the color. You can see how clear that is, how light the coloring is. Um, I don't have I don't have their 40-year right next to me for me to go, here's the difference. But just trust me, the pictures online, much darker, caramelized, cloudier. Um, and it says that it's sweeter, and it makes sense, and it just sounds lovely. I think this is lovely, clean, crisp, but I would probably have enjoyed an older one. It's almost like now I know what's out there, and then I want that other stuff. I don't know, I'm doing this with my head. Um, I've been watching a lot of Big Bang Theory, so I feel like I was tapping into my inner Sheldon just now, like, making like a Sheldon face. I'm sure that didn't project that way, but in my mind, that's what I was thinking I looked like just now. Mm. Whew. Okay, so Also, really interesting to serve at room temperature. So they suggest on their website to serve this at 20 degrees Celsius, and that translates to 68 degrees Fahrenheit for you US folk. Um, I keep my house pretty cold. I say our house. The floof, my husband, husband's not on board with it, but we have compromises. He's okay with me keeping the house cold. But our house stays at about 69 degrees. It feels a little warm right now in here to me. However, I am drinking this and it's warming me up internally. So when I saw 68 degrees, I was like, perfect. That's pretty much what our house is all the time. So no problem there. So drink this room temperature. Like I said, this would go great with cigars. So let's think about food. Let's do apples with apples, guys. Have this with an apple pie. Hello. I bet you that would be delicious. Um, Probably an unpopular opinion, but I'm really feeling like this a little bit more chilled, and then with an apple, like, Waldorf salad with, like, pecans, maybe candied pecans, because then it has that little bit of that cinnamon, sugar flavoring to it, Granny Smith apples, arugula, that sounds really good. I would have this Calvados even, like, almost in a cocktail, so chilled, um, what would I put in it? I wanna add something a little bit sweet to it, I'm not sure, but something a little sweet to be a little bit more, I don't know, I would say I would say a little bit more sweet so I can drink it faster, which probably isn't the right answer. But yeah, Calvados and cocktails for sure. I know it says drink at room temp, but a little chilled, like in a martini glass, like maybe a little coupe. A coupe is different than a tradition like, I wouldn't say traditional martini glass, because traditional martini glass is more of the coupe. But if you go to, like, a speakeasy bar or something, they have these and they serve the martinis in them, and they're the ones that's like a tulip, a coupe, and they're just rounded off on the edges, but they're large and they're shallow. You see them in old movies for, like, champagne to be put in. Not the great best thing for champagne, by the way, but that's what they used to do that. It's not the best because it's a wide base, so it allows the bubbles to leave the champagne quickly. Not the best to drink it out of, but great for, like, old-fashioned martinis, I feel like. And, yeah, sorry, I'm just, going off on a tangent there. But apple pie, apple Waldorf salad, I would definitely do. An apple strudel, that would be delicious. Um, I keep saying apple. That's all I'm thinking of is because I wanna bring out that apple flavor because this one in particular, it's so soft, it's really on the back end. The alcohol part's not soft, but the apple flavoring is very like a hint on the back end, and it's crisp. It's not super sweet, it's definitely a drier apple, sort of like the dry apple ciders, that aren't very sweet. It's sort of like that, so okay, anyways, moving on, we're gonna talk about, Calvados a little bit, and I jotted down a couple notes on here. Turn the screen off here. So, it says that it dates back to the 8th, number 8, not 18th, 8th century in Charlemagne, with apple orchards. And that tracks because, like I said, with the history before on apple cider and apple orchards being made, and that progression just makes sense, right? Apples have been around forever, and to make, jams and stew them and then ferment them and all that kind of stuff, and the progression of alcohol being made from apples, I mean, it makes sense. So obviously it started a really long time ago. Something I did find interesting, I didn't come across this. I don't know why this wasn't in the cider information when I looked it up. But in 1553, a squire, cool is that, a squire? A squire started a guild for ciders in 1606. I found that really cool. It's 1553 by a squire, and then went off to build a guild for cider in 1606. I thought that was really cool. And also oh my gosh, I forgot this. Calvados was created after the French Revolution. It wasn't. I think it was a little bit created before that, just by accident. I'd have to dig into that more. I don't think that's a super true fact. But one thing I did find really interesting was, so in the 19th century, there was a disease that attacked grapefruit. Grapefruit. Oh my gosh, drinking this alcohol. Grapevines, there we go, wine grapevines, and that disease was called phylloxera. I had to write it down because I didn't wanna mess it up, because as I drink alcohol, I'm gonna start messing up pronouncing stuff. So, phylloxera was a disease that hit grapevines, and it, like, murdered all of them. Okay? It went ham. Where it came from or anything, I don't know, that's for another episode, for us to dig into that, but it went ham, and it killed off, like, all the grapevines. So that's why also it's really hard for you to find a grapevine that's older than that, because it really, like, murdered all the grapevines. Um a little peek into that. The solution to that disease was America. We were able to, our grapevines that we had here was a solution to this disease that hit worldwide, by the way, except for the United States. But it hit worldwide, and the solution to it was grafting American grapevines to those. Anyways, this disease came across and it just murdered all the grapevines. Well, wines couldn't be made during this process of them trying to figure out how to fix this issue that they were having. People still wanted to drink booze. So what they ended up going to was old trusty Calvados and ciders, and probably it's really the sale of Calvados really skyrocketed, and that was really the big boost that the sales had, was in that era where wine was basically kicked out during a very high point in time, that wine was very prevalent across the world, and Calvados stepped in and was like, hey, I'm the ugly sister that's been over here in the corner that you forgot about, but I'm gorgeous. Why aren't you drinking me? And so it stepped into the limelight and really got a boom. And I'm happy about that, because we're better for it. Thank you very much, Calvados, for stepping up. Um, so also really cool around that time period, and I didn't know this either. In World War II, Calvados was used for explosives. Cider brandy or Calvados, apple brandy, was used for explosives because of the high alcohol content. I just I picture, like, the soldiers making explosives out of this alcohol, just, like, crying because they're having to waste this alcohol to make these explosives, and they're, like, torn between, like, fighting the enemy, saving their own lives, but also we're in a really crappy situation and we just want to drink this to, like, relieve us for the day or something. And so yeah, I feel like a lot of tears were done by soldiers when they were making explosives out of just pouring out, like, the brandy. I don't know how they turned that into explosives, but that's what it said when I looked it up. Also, this specific region where this Calvados is from is Pays d'Og, is how it's pronounced. Pays d'Og. And it's Pays, Pays, D, letter D, accent, Auge, Pays d'Og. And that actually was made in an official capacity, AOC, in 1942. And I thought that was also super cool. So, cheers to you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, get yourself some Calvados, man. Get some Calvados, have a little sipper. Um, it's definitely lighter than, like, a whiskey or let's see what else. Ooh. Oh, did you hear that? That's my body trying to reject it. Um, I don't normally drink something this high alcohol. Um, Whiskey, scotch, any of those hard liquors that you really sip on, this is going to be a lighter version of that. Um, just flavor while profile wise is just lighter. But don't sleep on it. The pricing's good. Um, not not to diss whiskey, scotch, bourbon, but I just feel like there's so much history in Calvados and care in making it in these smaller productions. And listen, Calvados isn't the popular kid at school. It's not everywhere. You don't see it in your face all the time. But I would say seek it out. Go to your local wine shops. Ask them if they have any Calvados, some good Calvados, and give it a whirl. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. It's different. It's definitely, I feel like, great summertime, springtime, um, even maybe fall. I don't know. I'm just thinking about Thanksgiving and all those yummy pies and foods that this would go well with. Maybe a bit light for wintertime drinking, but man, it's just a great drink. You want something different. You want to try something a little bit lighter. Um, just like lighter in the sense of flavor and crispness because of the fresh dry apples that are in it. Not overpowering. It's just like it's on the back end. The alcohol percentage is there at 41%. I just really don't sleep on it. It's really great. Um, ICC, I called you out, Industrial Cigar Company. Maybe y'all should have this and offer it on your new menu because they expanded and they have a bar and a restaurant and everything. They serve food and you can smoke cigars and have date nights and everything. And it's really lovely. But yeah, don't sleep on Calvados. Give it a whirl, give it a try. When you go out, I don't know, leaning like this, like a pirate. But yeah, give it a try. Look for it, ask for it. Local wine shops. I definitely would say this is a little bit more on the boutique end. So maybe a wine shop that has a bit of an eclectic vibe, and they have maybe even more high-end, sections in it. There are different calibers of wine shops. We have one that just opened up around the corner of us, and it is more of a basic wine shop, just like wines everyday folks will drink and come by, daily drinks, nothing wrong with that at all. But like Grand Cru in Nashville, they have oddities, they have weird stuff, which I love. They have high-end stuff. It's small. They rotate their inventory, and their staff is so, so well educated on what they have, what they like, what they recommend. So you go in there and you really can get a guide to help you purchase and decide on. And I love that. I usually do not partake in that, but sometimes I do. Sometimes, they'll just pop in and be like, "Hey, did you see this over here? You're grabbing that. Did you see this though? We just got this in." They'll tell me a little something about it, and I'm just like, "Yeah, sign me up. That sounds cool. I'll get it." I love those kind of shops that really are very involved. Woodland is another really good one in Nashville. There's several different locations. They're super cool. There's a lot of different ones, and not just in Nashville. Okay, we travel a lot, and there's great wine shops nationwide. I've come across smaller ones. We even found one in a tiny town in Virginia that was great. All kinds of like cool things, nooks, crannies, dusty bottles in the corner. I love that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I know we're all like social media, buy online, shipping kind of society now, but support the little guys. I love supporting local bottle shops, buying from them when I can, anywhere. Um, and just supporting them because if you don't, they're going to go away. They're not staying there out of the goodness of their heart. They have bills to pay, staff to pay, rent to pay. Like, I mean, you have to patronize them. And it really, really helps too on your wine education if you find a local bottle shop that's near you and you grow a rapport with them. You learn, you get to know them, they get to know you, they get to know what you like. So then when you come in, they'll be like, "Hey, James, you got this last time. Well, we got this in. I think you would really like it." And then they'll help you grow in your palate and everything. So I highly encourage to start a relationship with your local bottle shop. You get to know them, and so they can get to know you. So that is my rant for supporting little mom and pops and little guys, family owned, non-corporate, even though there's, corporate's fine. I'm not going to diss it because I'm not a saint. I definitely shop at larger, box stores, but I do always love to support the smaller guys. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm gonna go finish this Calvados so I can slur my speech in private. And I will see you guys next week. Please, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to message me and ask me. If you have a subject or something maybe you would like to hear about, I would love to hear your suggestions. We can make an episode out of that. I'm totally open to anything. And yeah, that's about it. Please subscribe. I always say that. Like, I appreciate it. We have a YouTube channel. I stream on live. You can subscribe to that. You get notifications and stuff. And all the videos are posted immediately on my YouTube channel as well. The audio and sometimes video, like Spotify does the video as well. So on all podcast platforms, I'm posted on, so you can listen and or watch. I'm on Facebook, so this streams live on Facebook. It also streams live on the Cellar Geek podcast page on Instagram. Sorry, it's making me burp. On Facebook, it's the Cellar Geek, and then on YouTube, it's the Cellar Geek. Instagram, I just made it separate because I also have the Cellar Geek page, which is all the wine cellar videos and photos and stuff I do for my job. So I try to keep it a little bit separate. So, anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. Thanks for everybody who popped in live. I love you guys. And I will see you next week. Haley, if you listen to this, here comes my ditty. A do 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 pew doo boop doo. I'm signing off. I'm signing off. We're gonna go clickety clack, into the stream, do do do, into the stream.